ShakespeareWilliam Shakespeare, 1564–1616. English poet and playwright, Shakespeare is extensively regarded to be the best author in the English language. He wrote 38 proforms and 154 sonnets. Short bio of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was once born in Stratford-upon-Avon on 23 April 1564. His father William used to be a profitable nearby businessman, and his mom Mary was once the daughter of a landowner. Relatively prosperous, it is probable the household paid for William's education, even though there is no proof he attended university. In 1582 William, aged solely 18, married an older female named Anne Hathaway. They had 3 children, Susanna, Hamnet, and Juliet. Their solely son Hamnet died aged simply 11. Shakespeare after his marriage. Data about the lifestyles of Shakespeare is sketchy, however it looks he spent most of his time in London, writing and appearing in his plays. Due to some well-timed investments, Shakespeare used to be in a position to impervious a company monetary background, leaving time for writing and acting. The fine of these investments was once shopping for some actual property close to Stratford in 1605, which quickly doubled in value. It appeared Shakespeare didn't idea being absent from his household, he solely again domestic at some point of Lent when all the theatres have been closed. It is notion that in the course of the 1590s he wrote the majority of his sonnets. This used to be a time of prolific writing and his performs developed a right deal of pastime and controversy. His early performs have been by and large comedies, for example Much Ado About Nothing, A Midsummer's Night Dream, and histories, for example Henry V. By the early 17th century, Shakespeare had begun to write performs in the style of tragedy. These plays, such as Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear, regularly hinge on some deadly error or flaw in the lead personality and furnish charming insights into the darker components of human nature. These later performs are regarded Shakespeare's best achievements. When writing an introduction to Shakespeare's first folio of posted performs in 1623, Johnson wrote of Shakespeare, "Not of an age, however for all time." Shakespeare the poet. William Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets typically in the 1590s. These quick poems deal with troubles such as misplaced love. His sonnets have an enduring enchantment due to his ambitious talent with language and words. Let me now not to the marriage of real minds admit impediments. Love is now not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Sonnet cxvi. The plays of Shakespeare. The performs of Shakespeare have been studied greater than any different writing in the English language and have been translated into several languages. He used to be uncommon as a playwright for excelling in tragedies, comedies and histories. He deftly mixed famous enjoyment with an high-quality poetic potential for expression which is nearly montric in quality. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it have to follow, as the night time the day. Thou canst now not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season this in thee. Lord Polonius, Hamlet Act 1, Scene 3. During his lifetime, Shakespeare used to be now not besides controversy, however he additionally obtained lavish reward for his performs which have been very famous and commercially successful. His performs have retained an enduring attraction in the course of records and the world. Some of his most famous performs include Twelfth Night, Henry V, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, Hamlet, King Lear, Othello. All the world's a stage, and all the guys and female basically players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time performs many parts. As You Like It, Act 2, Death of Shakespeare. Shakespeare died in 1616, it is now not clear how he died, and several recommendations have been put forward. John Ward, the nearby vicar of Holy Trinity Church in Stratford, where Shakespeare is buried, writes in a diary account that Shakespeare, Drayton, and Ben Jonson had a merry assembly, and it looks drank too hard, for Shakespeare died of a fever there contracted. In 1616, there used to be an outbreak of typhus, the new fever, which may also have been the cause. The common existence expectancy of any person born in London, England in the 16th century used to be about 35 years old. Shakespeare died age 52. Was Shakespeare absolutely Shakespeare? Some academics, regarded as the Oxfords, declare that Shakespeare by no means in reality wrote any plays. They contend Shakespeare used to be really simply a profitable businessman, and for authorship endorse names such as Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. Arguments have additionally been made for Francis Bacon. The argument that Shakespeare used to be absolutely the Earl of Oxford depends on circumstantial proof and similarities in his writing, fashion and relationships between his existence and the play of Shakespeare. However, there is no difficult proof tying the Earl of Oxford to the theatre or writing the scripts. By contrast, there is proof of William Shakespeare working in theatres, and he obtained a range of criticism from humans such as Ben Jonson and Robert Greene. Also, the Earl of Oxford died in 1604, and it is normally agreed there had been 12 performs posted after this date. Oxfords contend these performs had been completed by using different writers. It is additionally difficult to accept as true with the useless Earl of Oxford, who killed one of his personal servants, would write such incredible scripts and then be comfortable with anonymity. Also, to preserve anonymity, it would additionally require the cooperation of several household participants and different figures in the theatre world. The principle of different writers too. Shakespeare solely emerged centuries after the publishing of the first folio. Shakespeare's epitaph. Good pal, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dirt enclosed here. Blessed by way of why man why spares his stones, and cursed be he why strikes my bones. More fascinating statistics on Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Quotes on Shakespeare. Shakespeare, no mere toddler of nature, no automaton of genius, no passive car of thought possessed by way of the spirit, now not possessing it, first studied patiently, reflected deeply, understood minutely, until understanding grew to be ordinary and intuitive, wedded itself to his recurring feelings, and at size gave start to